As you know, cost of living, number one issue in the country, whether the media wants to talk about it or not. But what is this current government planning to do with its budget in a couple of weeks? That's right, let's all say it together. Increase taxes on 10 million people, the value of which is $1,500. $1,500 tax increase coming courtesy of Grim Jim and Albonomics. Well, there has been a breakthrough today for the people who will be suffering the $1,500 tax increase, but it's not 10 million people, it's just the people who work for the ABC. Today, a multi-year 11% pay rise and a $1,500 bonus. Could you think of anything more perfect than 10 million people having a tax rise of $1,500 and the staff collective getting an extra $1,500? All of this on the day where cost of living again reminds us that inflation is at near generational highs. The high fives everyone was giving themselves today, though, was it's not as bad as it was. But the whole point is, as I've told you, it doesn't matter whether it's record high or almost record high, stuff is going up every single month. To give you an idea, here's a graph from the Bureau of Statistics that released the data. On the far right-hand side, you can see from the pandemic to today, through the roof. And now because we're slightly below the tiles at the absolute peak of the roof, well, apparently it's all magnificent. Unless, of course, you're a normal person who's about to get hit with a $1,500 tax increase. Shh, don't talk about it because the ABC's getting their money. Where, if you have a look at this is what's going through the roof. Food, normal food. Dairy costs 15% more than it did this time last year. Bread and cereal, 12%. Food in general, 11%, drinks 8%, meals and takeaway more than 7%. But if you ask Grim Jim, oh, it's magnificent, despite the fact that we are still at generational high inflation.
Today's new inflation data provides further evidence that inflation has passed its peak and is now moderating in our economy.
Sorry, I think we were recording from a microphone at the back of the room, but good, less we hear from him, the better. As for the alternative, well, the Liberals see this for what it is, which is generational high inflation. 12 months on from the government that was going to fix a cost of living crisis, the crisis is way worse. And only workers for the ABC get $1,500 extra to pay for it.
And we've heard the Treasurer say that inflation is moderating. Well, if this is moderation, then heaven help us. Heaven help us. Because as I get around Australia, get around to households and businesses, they are seeing extraordinary pain from the cost of living pressures, from the cost of doing business pressures that they are all facing right now. This is clearly a Treasurer who doesn't understand the pains that are being felt if he thinks this is moderation.
Sorry, the cameraman was clearly on work experience there, but still, anyway, you got to hear what Angus Taylor had to say. Isn't that incredible? 10 million people are going to get a tax rise of $1,500. The ABC gets a one-off payment of $1,500. The way it works at the front end of the plane.